Let's take a look at coolant fill and air bleeding procedures. When filling cooling systems, all air must be bled or burped out of the coolant system to ensure that no air pockets are trapped within the system. Any air trapped impedes coolant flow throughout the engine or other vital components and can cause engine overheating or system failure. In most cases, manufacturers recommend that you run the system to operating temperature and watch the electric cooling fans cycle on and off twice. That ensures that all systems are up to operating temp and the coolant is circulated through all available passages throughout the system. Always consult service information for details. A standard funnel can be used to fill your cooling system. However, it can cause a mess when trying to bleed and burp the cooling system. This is a specialized coolant fill funnel that fits directly on your pressure cap. What this does is allows you to fill your coolant to capacity and a little bit above. Then you will run your engine up to operating temperature, and as it warms up, the thermostat will open and air bubbles will be forced out. They will be forced out through the coolant, and as soon as those pockets are opened, the coolant level will drop into the radiator. If there's any coolant left in the funnel, you simply take your stopper, put it in the funnel, and remove the funnel from the vehicle. Never leave the car running with the stopper in your funnel. It will build pressure just like your pressure cap would and can create a geyser of coolant, which is going to be very hot and could cause serious burns. We will now start our vehicle, let it get up to operating temperature, monitor thermostat opening, and monitor our coolant level in our funnel. When bleeding your system, it is sometimes recommended that the heater be set on high to ensure that all passages in the cooling system are open. Certain vehicles require a scan tool bleed, which opens and shuts passages and control valves in the cooling system. Always refer to service information for proper bleeding procedures. Once the cooling system is up to operating temperature and the thermostat is open, and you are confident that all air pockets are out of the system, you may now remove your funnel. Simply take your plug, insert it into the funnel, and pull your funnel off of the vehicle. When cleaning up coolant, try not to get any coolant near the serpentine belt, as it will cause it to squeak. Also, make sure any coolant spilled is rinsed thoroughly from the vehicle so the customer does not mistake leftover coolant for a coolant problem. A vacuum-operated coolant fill tool can aid in faster bleeding of the system and filling of the system. What it does is uses an air-operated vacuum pump to put the cooling system under a vacuum. When you flip this lever right here, it then draws coolant from my container into the cooling system. This system only works if my cooling system has no leaks in it, because I cannot put a system under a vacuum if it is leaking. To use this system, first make sure you have plenty of pre-mixed coolant in a large container. If you run out of coolant during the procedure, you will risk sucking air into your freshly filled system. Once we have hooked shop air to our system, our tool is ready to use. This button here runs our vacuum pump. This lever here blocks coolant flow into the tool. When putting our system under a vacuum, we want this in the off position. This is the on position that would allow coolant to flow from our container into our cooling system. Some of these tools have an adapter that goes right on the cap. This is a rubber cone style. What I want to do is make sure our coolant flow is in the off position, insert it into my radiator cap opening, and start pulling a vacuum. Once our gauge is in the green, we can see it's ready to use. We can also see that our radiator hose has now collapsed under the vacuum. Once I'm ready to fill, I simply make sure that I'm holding my tool in place and turn my lever. Make sure your hose is fully immersed in your coolant as well. Right now, coolant is flowing from the container into my system and filling the void created by the vacuum pulled by the tool. This decreases the chance of having air pockets trapped in the system because the vacuum allows the coolant to move to all areas of the cooling system. Now you can see coolant has stopped flowing into my cooling system, meaning that it is full. I can now turn my lever so I do not make a large mess. I'll pull my tool off of my radiator. Now I can empty my tube by opening my valve again and letting gravity pull coolant out of my tube. The vehicle is now ready to be road tested, checked for leaks, and put back into service.
That's a quick overview of coolant fill and bleeding. Any questions, please leave in the comments. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.